We thank God who has gathered us together as one family of faith, as one community of faith, as we thank Him for this singular gift of the Blessed Mother, conceived without sin. And our Immaculate Mother is not only the patroness of the Philippines, but also of the Manila Cathedral, the first cathedral in the Philippines, our Mother Church. So we welcome everyone to this home of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And in a special way, we also welcome His Eminence, Cardinal Rainer Maria Fulke, the Archbishop of Cologne, Germany. Welcome, Your Eminence. And our constant companion, our Apostolic Nuncio, His Excellency, the Most Reverend Gabriele Caccia. We welcome all of you, our beloved priests, the religious, and you. I think you're supposed to be taking your lunch. But which child would put lunch before his or her mother? Mary, by a special grace of God, in view of the death and resurrection of Jesus, was protected from what we call original sin. This is God's action, because Mary will play a singular, a unique role in God's plan of salvation. She was graced because of her mission. In the womb of Saint Anne, Mary was conceived without the stain of sin. This is the deep truth that is proclaimed by St. Paul in the second reading in his letter to the Ephesians. St. Paul blesses God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has given each one of us a spiritual blessing. All of us. God has chosen us in Jesus. And this choosing, this calling, comes with a spiritual blessing. St. Paul reminds all of us that with the choosing or calling of God, there is a spiritual blessing. St. Paul affirms that we had all been called before the foundation of the world. And what was the calling? Before we were even born, there was already a calling to be holy and be without blemish before God. To be holy like God, to be unblemished like God. And it is the same calling to be adopted children of God. God, who is holy, claims us as His own to share His holiness, making us adopted children through the Son, Jesus Christ. This is the will of the Father. This is holiness, so that we would always be in accord with the will of the Father. Not for our glory, but for the glory and praise of God. What a beautiful vision. The calling of each one of us, of each person, before we were even born, before we even got to know about it, we had already been destined to be adopted children through Jesus in holiness, shown in being in accord, in harmony with God's will. This is true of all of us. This is true of the church. And what is true of the church is true in a singular manner of Mary. What we say of the church, we can say of Mary. And what we say of Mary, we can say of Mother Church. So we cannot claim, oh, only Mary is immaculately conceived. That is true. But all of us have been called by God. All of us have been given a spiritual blessing. All of us have been called to holiness and adopted as adopted children of God. And all of us have a calling to be in accord with the will of God. So as we thank God for Mary, we thank God also for our calling. Definitely not to surpass Our Lady. We cannot do that. But all of us have that blessing. So can you please tell the person beside you, you are blessed and you are called. See, blessed and called. Oh, yes, all of us, yeah. 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 True. But the first reading is a good reminder. What happened to Adam? What happened to Eve? What happened when they listened to this mysterious serpent? The dialogue between God and the first human beings got disrupted. The blessing was wasted. The calling was not heeded. Not your will, my will. I heard your word, but now I choose to shut off my ear from your word. I would listen to the serpent. Harmony was destroyed. Dialogue was destroyed because human beings refuse to harmonize themselves with the calling and the will of God. Choosing another path, writing our own scenario, making our word the main word of the script, the storyline that we write rather than God's own story. But God's story will continue. There is the promise of a woman And in the gospel, we are brought to the lowly town of Nazareth. In its lowliness, and with a special grace bestowed on this humble but ardent woman named Mary, who already had her plans. Her storyline had already been written by Mary and Joseph. But then an angel, a messenger, comes, proposing a story from God. And we are held in suspense. What will this lady do? Will she insist on her own narrative, just like Adam and Eve? Or will she engage in dialogue with God? And finally, we hear the words, "Behold, the handmaid of the Lord. Be it done to me according to your word." Harmony was restored. Dialogue is possible again. Because the Lord was with her, full of grace. She was graced. She was called. And she was in full accord with the will of God. And through her, especially through her Son, the Word, who will become flesh in her, the dialogue with God will continue. It will never be broken again. We vacillate from dialogue to non-dialogue. Sometimes we want to go back to Genesis and assert our own storyline. But when those moments come, listen to the angels sent to you. Some of them might not look like angels at first glance, but they might have been sent by God. And listen, know that you are graced, and the Lord is with you to assist you. And in spite all of the resistance to dialogue, even with a whisper, say, "Let it be done to me according to your word." Enter the heart of Mary, the Immaculate One, and she will utter for us. She will whisper to our ears the words of a grateful and joyful response to the God who calls.